What's up, guys? It's your man KP67s bringing you another Imperial Academy video. And today I decided that we're just going to make a quick little detour into one of the newer Empire characters that was released, Colonel Starck. Now, the reason why I want to go over Colonel Starck is because I feel like Colonel Starck was kind of glossed over. You know, when you look at all the other YouTubers out there who are putting out videos, they're like, oh my god, the Wampa is like the most, like, you know, it's the best, he's the best character. He's an animal. You know, I mean, like, the fact that you could even make an animal dark side, I mean, like, come on, guys. Because what, he hit the special boy CLS across his pretty little face. Oh, poor baby. Anyways, that's enough hate towards CLS for now. Colonel Starck, as you can see here, he's an Imperial Trooper and he is a support character. As an Imperial Trooper, he will bring a handy-dandy benefit of a special unique that he shares with other troopers. So, with respect to Colonel Starck's stats, at first glance, they don't really pop at you. Like, he's got pretty decent strength and agility, I suppose. It's not quite cracking 1,000, but, like, you know, he's average. Everything seems to be pretty normalized across the board. You know, I modded him up pretty heavy on protection there, so he's sitting at about 62k health and protection total. He is fast, though. He is the second fastest Empire character besides the TIE Fighter pilot, so I modded him fast. Potency is potency, tenacity is tenacity, cool. And then you look at his physical offense, which is, again, kind of middle of the road, I guess you could say. Decent, you know, not the best, but decent. I modded his critical chance up pretty decently, considering his triangle is not critical chance, so I'm pretty happy with that level. He's almost 50%, not bad. His armor's pretty middle of the road, you know, standard, nothing again too special. So when you look at Colonel Starck's shards here, he didn't pop up in this case. Currently, he has two places you can get him. You can get him for free from the guild store with really bad RNG. Some people, like, you know, they can get him, they can farm him up through the guild store and they're doing well with it. Others, like, you know, he pops up once in a blue moon. The other way I went, actually, is the $12.99 pack where you can spin it for mostly 5 or 7 shards. You know, I didn't get lucky there. No 330s or 150s for me there, but you know, whatever. You can get him to 7 stars if, like, you know, you want to pay into it. So with respect to his worst gears, he's actually not the worst gear in the world. That being said, he does require 300 Carbanti salvage, which translates to 6 Carbantis. So again, if you don't have 6 Carbantis just kind of lying around, to max him out fully, it's a little bit of a hassle. However, most of the Carbantis he needs comes towards, like, when you're trying to get him to gear 11, gear 12. If you get him to gear 10, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's like maybe 3 Carbantis you need to actually get him to gear 10, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. So, after going over all that, we're going to go over his abilities now. So his first one here is Debilitating Shot, his basic. It deals physical damage to the target enemy and it inflicts defense down for 2 turns. If the target was already debuffed, he deals double damage. Now, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't hit very hard, and, you know, his debuff is defense down. It's like one of the worst debuffs out there. It's not. You know, because, like, first off, he's laying down a debuff, which, you know, if Veers is going, then you're going to call him. He's an Imperial Trooper, so you're going to stick a debuff on somebody. And if you really just want to have Starck do double damage, hit that one person that has a debuff now. It's not that big of a deal. Fracture's a debuff. If someone's fractured, shoot him with Starck. It's not a hard thing. And, you know, when you consider Starck's unique and all the other things he does, you know, his attack is not weak, guys. Like, you know, he hits for like 11k basic, you know, decently well. But with offense up from Veers and, like, you know, Veers' leadership and everything else, when you consider a synergistic team, he can hit for 20k. Absolutely, 100%. He has done so in the tank. Like the heroic tank, he hits for 20k. So don't look the other way on him in his basic. His first special here is scan all wavelengths. Empire allies gain critical chance up and critical damage up for 3 turns, and Starck gains 5% turn meter for each Empire ally and each rebel enemy. So, assuming you have a team of 5 rebels and a team of 5 Empire, you're gaining 50% turn meter. So that just makes him super fast. You know, if he's all, and especially with Veers in the mix there, again, a Zeta Veers, if you kill somebody, you gain 50% turn meter, so he can go, at some point, he can go back to back with his abilities, which is pretty insane. As well as the fact that the critical chance up and critical damage up buffs everybody's damage up. They hit, like, harder than clones. You know, you thought the clones were good with their abilities and, like, you know, Leia doing her thing and they all get crit chance up and stuff. Nah, man, no. Not with the troopers. They outshine the clone troopers, in my opinion, with respect to DPS. They do a lot of damage under Starck. Starck's second special ability is the Blizzard 4 Barrage. Here he deals physical damage to all enemies with a 50% chance to stagger them. The main target, whoever that reticle is on, the targeting reticle is on, you dispel all buffs off of them. And then for each active Imperial Trooper ally, it deals 10% more damage, and then you reduce the cooldown of this ability by 1. As you can see, his cooldown is a cooldown of 8 on this move. In a team of all Imperial Troopers, it's a cooldown of 3. You know? So it goes by very quickly, especially if you mod Starck fast. In addition, it does a lot of damage for an AoE. He's doing about with buffs and everything else, up about 12k damage per hit on this AoE. So it's a lot of damage because you're, again, in a full Imperial Trooper lineup, you're doing 50% more damage with this move. So in isolation, in a vacuum, you know, Starck doesn't look that crazy. But when you put him in the right lineup, Starck is brutal when you look at his damage. And the last thing, his unique, takes it just that much further. So in this case, there is a Zeta that I actually Zetaed here. But I'm just going to read the whole thing. Imperial Intelligence. At the end of his turn, Starck recovers 7% health and 3% protection. Not crazy. And he removes 1% turn meter from all enemies for each active Empire ally, doubled for Imperial Troopers. So in a team, again, of 5 Imperial Troopers, he is removing 10% turn meter. This doesn't sound crazy, but let me give you a scenario. Starck uses the Blizzard 4 Barrage, and there's Biggs on the other side. Now, we know Biggs gains 100% turn meter whenever, you know, he's hit by an Empire attack or a critical hit, in which case, like, you know, both happen to be here. But Biggs is not going to go next, because with this Zeta, you knock off a bit of turn meter off of Biggs. And if everyone else on your side is loaded, Biggs isn't doing anything. And then you can go ahead and slaughter him how you so choose to. So, you know, just from that theoretical perspective, it actually kind of puts a damper on getting the Wiggs duo to do anything. You know, it would technically just shut them out, because the troopers are going to go before Biggs. And if Biggs can't get off that super mega hit between himself and Wedge, you know, it's fine. It's gravy. And then finally, honestly, like, you know, the icing on the cake here is the unique that he grants to all troopers. When Starck is active, Imperial Trooper allies have plus 50 armor penetration. This is gold at increasing damage output just that much more, guys. Let me give you a context. Raid Han Solo. His armor penetration is 149, and we all know how much damage he does. You know? Death Trooper has an armor penetration of 90, you know? Clearly, they're not going to be doing the same amount of damage at all. But, you know, if you mod Death Trooper appropriately, he can come close to Han Solo. Now tack on a plus 50 onto Death Trooper. Now he's sitting at 140 armor penetration. Death Trooper's ability now, instead of double tapping for 10k, double taps for 20k. I'm sorry, not even Han Solo does that. He may hit you the first time for 15k and the second time for 7k, but now you've got Death Trooper hitting you for 18 to 20k each hit because of daze, and then getting a daze on top of it or a stun on top of it. Like, it just makes the troopers that much more offensively powerful. And that's just like, you know, it's just really cool to me. So when you look at Starck overall, what would be his best uses? Well, actually, before we get into his uses, we go into his mods here. And as you can see, I modded him here with a speed set and then a couple random pieces. I would like to make them potency in this case, but that requires me to actually farm potency with speed secondaries. So, I mean, like, this probably won't be done for another 3 months. But, you know, you look here, he's got speed here. I put offense on the triangle, potency on the cross, and protection on the circle. I would definitely recommend speed, obviously, number one, name of the game, Galaxy of Speed. Never forget, guys, never forget. So speed is the number one thing. I would definitely have critical chance and offense added here. The more damage output he can put out, the more stronger he'll be. And then as the final part, I would try to add a little bit of potency. His stagger is not necessarily the main thing I'd be worried about because it's a 50% shot, but that 10% turn meter steal that he can do, that gives the troopers just that much more of a little bit more of an edge. You know, that just makes it, that just puts it over the top and makes me want to actually make sure my secondaries have potency. So in summation, speed, critical chance, potency, offense. Those are the secondaries that I would try to gun for. So with respect to Colonel Starck's uses, he is great in the heroic AAT tank. I know that there are videos of now the Imperial troopers nearly completely soloing phase 4. Now, is it as fast as, let's say, a Night Sister solo, or that, you know, ridiculous Mon Calamari plus, you know, White Boy Blonde and Greasy Smuggler and, you know, Thrawn? Is it as good as those teams? No, because, like, you know, those teams are just, again, hey, let's pile 5 OP characters together and make them freaking godlike. But if you just want to run Imperial troopers and you just want to be able to solo one phase, these guys now have the potential. Starck, backing up the Imperial troopers, definitely has the potential to do so. Starck is also viable in Arena. Even with CLS and Raid Han Solo, just don't use an AoE. But, you know, if you buff their damage and you can hit people with defense down, you're going to take them out real quick, guys. Real quick. So definitely viable in Arena with a bunch of troopers. You can choose to have Thrawn in as backup and Veers as lead, or you can have the roles reversed. Thrawn lead and Veers as kind of a support character. Obviously great for PvE. He clears Galactic War with the Imperial troopers. I put up a video like a few days ago, you know, 6 minutes. You know, full auto. I didn't even have to worry. I mean, like, I just completed a Galactic War where I faced off against the Gear 12 CLS. They smoked them. 100% smoked them. And the rest of it was Rogue One. It was like Rogue One plus CLS, and they didn't even lose protection, guys. It was insane. So yeah, in my, I guess, final thought, I guess you could say, Starck is, like, I don't even know how to put it. Like, I'm just so disappointed that everybody was just like, oh, Starck is okay, he'll just be mediocre. It's like, no, man. Like, if you understood a faction, and this is something that I always like to try to tell people who are interested in Empire. The Empire is not, like, you know, a slap them together, DPS the hell out of somebody faction. It's a thinking person's faction. It's someone who actually goes over a kit, learns the synergies, learns how to use them most effectively, and then can just wipe house with anybody. you know? Now, does it make them the most defensive? No, it doesn't, because their kits are complicated. You have to be thinking. The AI does not know how to think. So defensively, not the best squad. You can definitely give somebody a run for their money, but it's not the best squad defensively in that case. But me personally, I just really think Starck should have gotten a lot more attention than what he did, and he's going to be playing an integral part to things like the dark side territory battle, to offensive territory war, to giving you what you need to beat a Night Sister team. I don't care how well modded a Night Sister team is. A Trooper team that's relatively equally modded to Night Sisters is going to smoke them within 40 seconds, tops. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Less than a minute, 100%. 100%. So yeah, guys, that's my kind of ranty, I guess you could say, review of Colonel Starck. If you liked the video, you know, leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share this video. Spread the knowledge. Spread the wealth. We do know that dark side territory battles is a thing now. We know territory wars is a thing now. And the more information people have on characters like Starck, the more effective people are going to be able to prepare really, really cool teams that are going to, you know, hold their worth. All right, guys. Have a good night.